Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Sesso here. There's a video here today. I'm bringing you guys a video on how to create your own little brand. We're gonna put a little title on this video. Basically, I think the first one I ever did was sort of how to get your own first design client, or how to get your first design client from scratch, which is a really cool, well-received video. And I thought people might actually care about my opinion, so I'm gonna make another video here today, being how to make your own, or how to create your own income, right, as a freelance designer. And the reason why I use the word income is because I want this to be for people who really choose to like stick with this and really understand it, not just kind of like, you know, make money here and there, which is fine, right? That's what a hobby is called. But some people want to really do this, and like for myself, I'm gonna tell you guys my shared experience on how I can create my own good income. And of course I live at home and stuff. Like, I need a little Q&A session. I do live at home, 21 years old. I plan on moving out this year. So it's kind of like, it's just one of those things that I feel like I should just share and just kind of give you guys my little, you know, trip down the memory lane and how I sort of build the brand that I have today, and how I'm able to sell things online today, and how to basically get a couple dollars in your pocket while doing that as well. So I'm gonna start off right with pre-made designs. Now, pre-made designs, you guys all know, they're basically like pre-made design that you create on your own time, and it's a great method of practice, and it's also something that's really cool to think about, right? Some people don't think about it like this. Some people think about pre-made designs as something that they just do to make money for, they sell it, and they sort of just leave it being that only. But the way that I look at pre-made designs personally is progression. I feel like it's a very cool way to show your audience that you might already have, or that you're trying to build yourself, your sort of fan base, the word progression, right? You want to see progression. They can see progress. They can see sort of like a reason as to why you charge things. I would call it, not the word reason, but I'd probably call it the word proof of like concept of like why you price the money you do. I think that's a way to put it. So personally, I do have a sort of like little November to January 8th of 2018, basically like the most recent mascot that I've done, and also the one of the first ones I've ever done as well. So personally, I think you can see a very big difference in change of quality. You can see it in change of quality of line work, color, and the reason why I did this, and I wanted to show you guys really quickly, and also kind of give you a more like further example, is because, for one, of course, I know some people might not know the culture of like logo design, or even know the premise of, you know, what a mascot really is. So they might not really be able to see how we see it, like a difference between, you know, from November 20th to January 8th. They might not really see what the reasoning or what the differences are, but someone who's a little more trained, and they might understand it, and that's kind of like why I put this in here. So if you guys want a really quick example for those individuals, if you look at the November 20th one, you can see my line work and my colors are very bland. They're just very simple yellow, white, and black, and as well as the line work itself, meaning the black lines that you guys see are not really detailed, and they're not really sort of, you know, exaggerated, or don't have any kind of character or style to them. And then you can slowly see the transition between April 21st. You can see more of a I would call it just like negative space being used, but as well as I also realized that my perspectives were really kind of off in a way as well. And then you kind of get to the September 26th one, where you can get a little more bit of line work going in, right? You can see I kind of like use like the negative space in the eyes, and you sort of like get a little more, you know, fluid with the colors, and like using shades, and just using just different kind of colors, right? But you get a lot of difference when you look at the December 4th one, which I've done a lot of mascots in between September and December, and I just showed you guys this one because of my favorite ones of that time. And you can see just like the use of this really nice blue color, the line work actually has not, it's just not black, right? It's like has a blue tint to it, and everything just really kind of has a uniform fit to it. Now personally, I think the facial structures could have been done a little bit better. However, that was that, right? And then the one that I've done most currently would be the January 8th one, where it's a nice little cool tiger, and I think it's really awesome. Also, the thing I want to point out as well, as all my pre-mades have sold besides one of them. So what I'm going to tell you guys is it really does matter when you kind of show you have a storyline when it comes to your pre-mades. That's why I say if you're going to start, and like also one thing as well is, how do you say it? It's like I said, it's a great method of practice. You can be done on your own time. I know a lot of people kind of stress out on sort of like client works, where you have to get a date, and like you start getting frustrated with the client, or, you know, I wouldn't recommend that, by the way, but it happens, right? You get frustrated and you're just like, oh, I just don't want to work on this anymore, and your work ethic and your work quality, is not the best. And what happens is your client will see it, and then they'll ask for a refund, or they'll ask for like a revision, and you're just done with the client. You're just like, you know what, whatever, and then you just sort of refund the money, and that's all that time wasted. That happens. It's happened to me, and I personally say that, and I just know that the client is always right to an extent. understand that. Don't put yourself through hell because you just want the money for it. Sometimes you just have to understand, like, hey man, I really can't get this concept, or can we work on something different? Do not be afraid to ask that. Now, one other question you might ask yourself is, how do you sell the pre-made design, and how do you really ask yourself, hey, what do I price this as? And I would personally tell you is sort of like, be reasonable but not desperate, right? Now this might be a little weird to you, and I might have a little bit of, not, I wouldn't call it hate, but a little bit of disagreement. This is a very flexible conversation, right? How you price your work. I personally believe you should charge an hourly rate. Now, it's not just about how much time you spend on it. I know that personally. I had a conversation with a friend named Aaron, and he pointed that out very clearly to me, and I already kind of knew, but I didn't want to, like, just, you know, kind of say, yeah, you know, but I kind of want to just sell it right there and then. That's something that's kind of struggling, right? I promise you that there's a price out there for everyone for the quality of work that you do, and I'm going to tell you that because that's a damn truth. I mean, there's like 7 billion people on the planet, right? But let's just think about that, right? Anyway, regardless, is how do you sell it? I personally do it by how I personally, like, how much time I personally spent on the actual concept itself. So for me, I spend about maybe like 3 to 4 hours, maybe at most 5 hours on my pre-made mascots, and that's kind of like an all-togetherness, right? In document, probably 2 to 3 hours. So for me, I say like $20 an hour is a pretty okay rate for just some practice. Now, you got to remember to yourself that this, I would call pre-made designs, I do personally call them practice. I don't call them, you know, like a finalization, because there's some things that I know for sure that I could fix, but I'm just like, I'm so frustrated with it, and it's on my own time, and kind of doing it in one session is just kind of fun for me. It's therapeutic for me, and I come out with a really cool concept that's just good enough for people to purchase it and to enjoy it and make brands out of it. So with that being said, I kind of would suggest you to maybe do it hourly, but also the experience, right? For my first mascot that I ever did, right, that November 20th one, I charged around, I think it was $30 for that, and I think I sold it at $25, telling people like, hey, I lowered the price down, it's now $25, and someone bought it for $25 and not $30. The one I've currently did for the Tiger one sold for $70, which is pretty dang good. So there is that difference of timeline, and in between each two, if you didn't see the difference, they were big differences in how much they cost. Now, some people nowadays will tell me like, hey man, you charge so much more for your logos, but I personally do believe that it's being reasonable as well. I know how much time I spent on it. I know how much time that I chose to sort of, I would say how much I sort of paid attention to things I knew I wanted to do, and rather than fix, there are those things, and that's what I mean by being reasonable and not desperate. So that was kind of like my way of kind of like covering how I say that, right? But as well as being incredibly honest. So if you find yourself doing a pre-made design, and like whatever it actually might happen to be, it does not have to be a mascot logo. Make sure you understand that. It could be something like, I don't know, something crazy as logo marks. I know in the past I've done logo marks as in just like random letters of letter A's or letter C's or whatever my favorite letter was, just trying to like find, I see people call them like, you know, let's just say S logo exploration, right? There's those little things called explorations, and then some people might really like your little random logo mark, and they might say, hey, how much do you want to charge for it, you know? Those are things that do happen to people, but they don't really call themselves probably like, you know, pre-made designers or something like that, right? They just sort of like make something, tweet it out, and then if someone happens to say, you know, otherwise, like, hey, can I purchase it? They can purchase it, right? But if you put the words, you know, hey, pre-made design on this, or up for sale, DM me if you're interested, or email me if you're interested, that might actually bring the interest of people buying it. They might actually look at it through their timeline and say, oh my god, this is super cool, I wish I can have it, because you don't even have like that little bit of information that might be actually purchasable. And that's just something that someone from the outside perspective saying to themselves, hey, they're so interested in your design, they ask for someone, or they ask themselves if they can purchase it from you. That's something that's really cool about like sort of like designs overall. It catches people's experience, and they might actually really fall in love with it. So please, for the love of God, if you want to be a pre-made designer or sell your designs, maybe just put the little interest in there so people just know that that is available and is a thing to do. But that's not the entire point. What I'm going to say to yourself, right, if you're going to find yourself doing a pre-made design, whatever it may be, we're going to go with this again, even if it's like a banner design, I don't know, like anything that you might find, like wallpapers, who the heck knows, right? Whatever you want to sell and that you've done for practice, let's say you spend 2 hours on it, right? Let's just say you charge, I don't know, $10 an hour on it. Let's just say your practice was worth $10 an hour because of my experience and whatever other tax you want to put on it, right? So you're going to say, all right, I'm going to sell this mark for $20, but then you got to put like I said, experience. So we'll call it experience tax. Let's just say, well, why not just add like half of an hour worth in there? So now it's $25. Now let's say, how good is the concept and how great do you think other people would find like really cool interest in it? I don't know, like think about it as in an animal, right? How many people want like an animal of an ant? right? I don't know, if I sold a mascot ant logo for, I don't know, like $50, is it really going to sell? Just like even in the sense of the animal itself. But what if I sold this really cool aggressive tiger that was just super awesome? You know what I mean? You see what I'm trying to say? That so maybe if it's a really cool and attractive design that you know for sure that so many people will be super interested in, maybe bump it up even right there and then, right? That kind of like gets rid of the people who want it just to have it, and also gets the people who really want it to grab it from you. And like really, you want your work to also be out there, right? You want it to be something that someone else sees, that way someone else can get a client from you, and that will help like sort of progress the income that you might actually end up getting. So out of like all the ways to make money as a freelance designer, I would personally say pre-made designs happen to be one of my favorites because it works for me, and that's not saying it's gonna work for you or all the above. It might actually just, I don't know, who the heck knows, maybe you might find your love and passion doing work on your own time, not having clients. I mean, clients should, please, for the love of God, take clients as well, but I'm just saying, right, doing work on your own time for practice is a lot more fun than the pressures of having someone else's opinion. Like, I don't mean that in the sense of like clients are the worst thing in the universe, no, but I'm just saying practicing is kind of fun, right? And also I would say to the people who are out there who are just watching this video for some reason that are trying to figure out why designers might price their work so quote-unquote expensive, is because you're paying for their experience. Experience is expensive. There's that thing, right? There is that level of, you know, how much time someone might have spent on something, how much detail that whatever you might be looking at price-wise, you might not understand because your eye is not even the word of trained, but it's not actually just, you're just not seeing it. It might actually be the word trained. Your eye is not trained to see why things might be priced the way they are, because any designer who saw my premium designs from November 20th, 2016 probably wouldn't say that, hey, it's the same quality of work that you're doing now. So if premium design is probably something you want to find yourself doing, it's something that you probably find interesting, give it a shot. You might not know that premium designs is probably like your future. Who knows? I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who makes a gosh darn living having fun, enjoying what they want to do for practice, you know, sort of making their skills super fine-tuned, just making themselves better out there, who's making a lot of money doing so. So who knows? Maybe that could be you. Now, if something like pre-made designs is not for you, that is okay. If you want to keep your practices safe and just like sacred, and you want all your people to find like the finalist images of the world, the polished designs, there's no harm in that whatsoever. I'm not going to say it's not going to be the best or the worst way of building your brand. I'm just saying showing a little progression here and there is probably a little fun to do for your fans to sort of build a storyline with you, but I'm sure they'll see your progression through your final images as well. So if pre-made designs is not something that you're, I guess, not capable of doing, but something you're not interested in doing, that is okay, because there's way more ways to do so, and there's one other way personally that I like to choose to do it as well. And that way would actually be using a digital store, even your own website. If you might find yourself saying, like, my website's super dull, I want more than a portfolio, maybe make a store and sell your own design assets. Now, what I mean by design assets are sort of things that you probably find yourself using very consistently. You might have created yourself, that you might have just like really said to yourself, like, this is what makes my design what it is. It might be a cool stock that you might use for lighting. It might be this really cool, weird, quirky, fun, colorful, abstract mess of whatever goodness, but you make it look so good and the final result is so well received through your fans and whatnot, you might find yourself being able to sell that kind of stuff. Now, with that being said, is you should be very honest in what you sell. You should definitely not ever Google any images or anything like that. And this video, by the way, is not trying to call anyone out, but do not sell things that are not yours. Those stocks that you find on Google are not actually yours. Even if they say, hey, it's a free stock, they don't mean, hey, it's free for you to go ahead and sell. You know what I mean? Just be sure you're not one of those people who do that. I'm sure that wave is out there, or not like any no longer in practice. How do I say that? Is no longer in practice, right? No one does it anymore. But if you find yourself doing this really cool thing that people really like, try to share with other individuals, right? You might just kind of make a little package. For me, that might have been my brush stock. My brush stock was something that I love to use brushes in my like final images and my tutorials and stuff like that. People really like that kind of stuff, and so pretty much I said, hey, let's just kind of create a cool pack out of it. So I called it the brush pack, the stock brush pack. Some of you might have it, somebody might know of it, whatever the case may be. It's a really cool pack that I only sold for $5, and it was a very fair price for me, and it's a fair price for everyone else as well out there, because it's over 600 plus purchases, and it's also just something that's really honest and really fun to use. And I would honestly tell you guys to be sure when you're going to sell something, make sure it's yours, of course, but even add a little bit of extra fling to it, right? For me, my brush pack has a little perk to it, so if you do purchase the pack itself, I'm not trying to sell it, by the way, I'm trying to give you ideas, but I'm still kind of selling it in a way. You're probably like, oh crap, this is pretty cool. This is why, right? Because I have a perk to it. So the perk for me was, hey, when I actually, whenever you purchase this, I know for me, personally, I think updates are something that should be free, right? And why do I say that? It's just, I'm not talking about video games, stuff like that, but video games, like, they have updates that are pretty much for free, and they have DLC that you can purposely buy because it's completely different, right? So I'm gonna think of that in the same way of doing, like, I don't know, brush stocks. For me, I know brushes themselves are trendy in a way. Some lighting brushes might be really cool then, and just not gonna be, like, cool, in the future. And that's fine, right? So kind of like maybe make an effort to saying, hey, whenever I kind of update my pack, I'll give it to you guys for free as well. And it's not like giving it for free, but it's also saying, hey, I'm gonna update my brush pack. So right there, that's a little perk that someone's like, hey, I'm gonna forever get updates until that person maybe makes a new volume or a new something else that is so much better that they know for sure they have to take it out of that context of having in that first product. Now, I am not saying that's the only way to do it. I'm not saying you have to. The only way to sell something is to make things for free. If they purchase it now, they get something later on for free. No, that's kind of like my way of doing things. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to do that. Go for it, man. Go for it. If someone likes your work, likes the content, the design assets that you choose to put out, then why the hell not, right? But I'm just saying, for instance, for me, the everything pack, where they can purchase one thing flat and they get everything next for free. The reason why I do that, you might be saying to yourself, dude, you're losing so much money. They can purchase for $30 and then that's it. That's all you get right there and then. But for one, be honest with yourself. Is all the things that you're putting out right now, right, going to be the same exact value of next year? Let's use the pre-made examples that I said before, where I said I did that one mascot way long ago for $25, and now I'm charging $70. That's going to be the same exact thing about your store. Later on, we're going to take it down, right? You're going to probably take it down, but who the heck knows? Somebody might be at that level right there and then they can see the progression. So for me, the way I look at the everything pack is sort of like a really big, just a bunch of experience is what I look at the everything pack as. That's what other people look at it as well. And I'm not trying to sell it as well again, but I'm just trying to show you my construction of a product. Now, I feel like you should really, truly, if you're going to want to sell something, put some effort into figuring out what kind of perk or what kind of something you can make it that you're just not selling just the asset itself. Even though that might be good enough, but what's going to push your sales and push the flow and the hype and just keep the hype up? What is that going to be? I have no clue for you, but you probably have an idea. You're just like, holy crap, Cecil, you're just giving me a brilliant idea. And then guess what? Guess who's going to get some money out of it? And it's not just making money, it's just also helping people as well, right? My products are solely to help people as well. Like I just said, it's a big bundle of experience. So whatever your idea might be, put it to use and you might actually make some pretty cool killer income for yourself, support yourself, and then make even cooler things and just be super happy about life, right? That's what is it called? Like the trifecta? What the heck is it called? Maybe someone knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think those two things, right? The second one is pretty short, but it's pretty honest. It's pretty kind of cut clear. You got to think about what product you might want to be selling. You might sell pre-mades. You might sell pre-made PSDs, I would call them, right? You might sell, I wouldn't say pre-made. You're probably going to sell something that got like, what if your tweet got like 300 freaking likes and like 100, retweets on this project that you did for some individual, right? And then they might not ever end up using it, but you did it for fun. You just did it for whatever. You might say to yourself, dude, I can totally, if someone liked it so much, maybe they want to know how I did it. You can sell your PSD. People sell their work. They sell their work in the actual file itself, so you can study exactly what you did. Now, if you're going to be one of those individuals who do that, do not be just freaked out or get super emotional about someone using your methods. I mean, you're selling your methods, right? So you can't really push the oh my god, you're doing just, why are you making something that looks just like mine? It might look just like yours, but they're experiencing exactly what they purchased, right? They're studying exactly what you did, and they're giving it a shot. So if you're gonna sell your PSDs, do not be, I guess you would say, offended by someone who chooses to purchase your PSD, work with it, and understand how you do it, and then give it a shot. There's no wrong in that for me, I believe, personally, but that does not also mean you can't privately tell them, hey man, make sure you kind of maybe fine tune it in your own way. But thank you so much for purchasing this stuff and yada yada yada. There's this fine lines that I'm not entirely sure how I would say it clearly, but just be sure that you can do something like that as well. But also do not be kind of, like I said, offended by people who choose to use your practices and as their own, right? And you'll see it in some people. You'll see it in some people. That's just simply because they're studying it, right? So if that is for inches for you, hopefully one day you can come back to this video and be like, yo, Cesso, thank you so much for kind of helping me figure out how I can sort of support myself more, just not by getting clients alone. Because that's not the only way, right? That is not the only way. There's probably a tons of other ways. So personally, if you probably have a different way, tell me, like, let me know what it is. I believe the word income, right? Like I said in the beginning of the video, how to make a passive income. I think making an income as a freelance designer happens to be having multiple sources of that money, right? Multiple sources of money. So for me, pre-made designs plus clients plus, you know, a design asset store, all those combined are a really cool way for me to make a nice passive income, right? That was my conclusion kind of sentence, and I hope for gosh that it helps someone out there, and hopefully these videos here you guys do enjoy. So that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I will talk to you guys next Sunday. And also, I was thinking of an idea of having some sort of upload for every single day of next month. I'm gonna hint it out there because I feel like I really want to do it for you guys, and it's gonna be about logos, maybe A through Z. You know, hint, if you guys haven't been on my live streams, I've talked about it a little bit. But thank you guys so very much for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Sesso HQ out. Do not forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and stay freaking productive, guys. Later. Go ahead and go make that passive income, dude. Much love.